News first tonight, Father Jeff San Nicolas, a delegate to Archbishop Savio Hontai Phi, made a tearful plea to senators, the governor, and churchgoers to carefully consider the consequences Bill 326 will have on the local church. Here's more. Several dozen people filled the conference room at the Cathedral Basilica today to listen to Father Jeff San Nicolas' statement on Bill 326, which seeks to lift the statute of limitations on civil litigation on child sex abuse.
People of God, senators and governor, please consider carefully all the motivations behind this bill. The church desires you to do what is right for the victims of abuse, but please safeguard the innocent people and services this bill could harm. I respectfully ask you to pray about your decision.
Father San Nicolas' address on Bill 326 did not differ much from that of Archbishop Savio Hontai Phi, the temporary administrator for the Archdiocese of Agana. Archbishop Han also called upon Governor Eddie Cavill to consider the bill, and he also circulated a petition to call for its veto. Like Archbishop Han, Father San Nicolas also apologized to victims and survivors of clergy sex abuse. He quoted Pope Francis, saying,
"For those of you who were abused by a member of the clergy, I am deeply sorry for the times when you and your family spoke out to report the abuse, but you were not heard or believed. Please know that the Holy Father hears you and believes you. I deeply regret that some bishops failed in their responsibility to protect children."
Father San Nicolas then spoke about the grave consequences Bill 326 could have on the church, noting that bankruptcy and insolvency would be inevitable.
The Archdiocese of Agana is not seeking to protect child sexual abusers of any kind. It simply desires the people of God to be well informed about the true effects of Bill 326-33. Bankruptcy of the local church would be inevitable, and attempts to exaggerate, minimize, or obscure the effects of bankruptcy on the services provided by the church is not helpful.
Father San Nicolas says if the measure were to become law, the Archdiocese would have to scramble to keep churches and schools open, which means sacrifices will have to be made elsewhere.
And the degree of sacrifice comes down to how much insurance coverage there is and whether parish assets and institutions are regarded by the court as assets of the diocese and available for lawsuits.
Father San Nicolas also made a plea to the leaders of the Neo-Catechumenal Way. This is the faction of Catholics who critics believe are responsible for the deep division within the local church. Members of the Neo-Catechumenal Way are signatories on a controversial deed restriction that essentially conveyed the multi-million-dollar Jotnya property over to the Redemptoris Mater Seminary Corporation, which is now being used as a seminary primarily for neo-catechumenal priests. Father San Nicolas talks about an exchange earlier in the month he had with Monsignor David C. Kitigwa, the acting rector for the RMS. Father San Nicolas notes that he had submitted a request to visit the RMS together with the group Laity Forward Movement and to inspect seminary documents, but he was told he needed Cardinal Filoni's permission first.
This letter is all about authority and power. While intimidated at first, I came to realize that I was the proper church authority in the absence of the apostolic administrator. The intent of Monsignor David's letter was now clear to me. Neither I nor Archbishop Han is the church authority over decision-making regarding Redemptoris Mater Seminary, even over simple matters such as who can visit. Cardinal Filoni is in charge.
You can read Father San Nicolas's full statement online at pacificnewscenter.com.